Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the third edition of Weekend Rants. I'm your host, Cole Marcus Cash, and these are my biggest gripes for the wrestling world for the week of December 13th through December 19th, 2020, in regards to televised programming between World Wrestling Entertainment and All Elite Wrestling. At number 5, we have the Cheerleader of Tomorrow, Asuka. I personally absolutely love Asuka since the moment she arrived in NXT and all of her time on both brands, be it Raw or SmackDown. At the moment, she is the Raw Women's Champion, and she's regained some of, maybe most, definitely not all, of her badassery from her time in NXT. But then there's other times where she's still, for lack of a better phrasing, a cartoon character. So this tough and proven warrior that we have in Asuka, our main singles women's champion, is somehow in a feud with the women's tag team champions, and her battle partner of all people is Asuka. That they're not really doing much more than trying to portray as the lovable underdog. Lana, who's openly portrayed as the joke in this storyline, or even the whole division, but she finds herself in a tag team with Asuka, the warrior, the Empress of Tomorrow. The whole thing is a mismatch, to begin with. And aside from the fact that you can get two separate storylines for your two separate division champions, Lana doesn't deserve to be highlighted in such a way around three champions, or even one of them, or even really being on Raw, aside from an accessory character like she was with Natalya, who you could argue may or may not have deserved to be on Raw either. But regardless, luckily for everyone involved, Asuka, Shayna Baszler, Nia Jax, the fans that watch this, the people that watch this and react to it, be it me or anyone very much more successful, it is fortunate for all parties involved that they removed Lana from this match. Now you can speculate what's going to come from this at TLC. Is it going to be the return of Charlotte? Is it going to be, insert your prediction here? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, sure, it could be Dana Brooke, and that'll be terrible also. Sure, it'd be Mandy Rose, and that wouldn't make much sense. I don't think it's either of those two. And short of that, and a few select awful possible selections from SmackDown or NXT, I don't think that they can miss on whoever the replacement is. I think it's an immediate upgrade. I think the match is a whole lot better for it. I would say hopefully the storyline's a whole lot better for it, but I'm hoping the storyline is over. I want to see another contender for Raw's women's title, a singles match, Asuka versus whomever. I want to see Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, still the women's tag team champions, versus whatever actual contenders for the women's tag team titles that they would have. But A, there are none, and B, they break up ones that you could see in a rotation of challengers. So I don't really know where they go with that. I honestly think the women's tag team titles probably should go to NXT at this point. I'm not sure what you do with it. But champion versus champion feuds in my opinion, are really good. I can probably count on one hand if I want to compose that list when they've ever been good, at least within the world of WWE. At number 4, thanks, but no tanks. If I had to make a wager, I think Shotzi Blackheart is going to end up on this list on a weekly basis. As long as she's on television, I think she's going to find a way to end up on here. They're over at NXT, they're very much leaning into everything about whatever this is. The entrance seems to have more artistic value to it on a weekly basis. And there's this threat of this tank and it projecting things at you. And the howling, the howling. I really don't understand why anyone takes her seriously, or why she's pushed, or why she's so adored in the wrestling community. I'd love for anyone to explain it to me other than she really buys into her gimmick, which I appreciate, by the way. If I can give Shotzi credit for anything, is the fact that she is 100% in. And I think if you can dive your whole self into something, hats off to you. But in my opinion, again, everything else about this is bad. The colorfulness is not unique because she's not even the only person with green hair in the company. The tank thing is silly, but I don't really like anything childlike within WWE. And I know childlike and tank are ironic phrasing of terms, but it's obviously not a real tank. It's obviously a toy. It's obviously made to get kicks and giggles from younger community members, and probably to have a unique accessory to sell with your action figure. Does she even have an action figure? I don't even know. Hopefully so. I would never buy it for anyone, but that's the only thing that would make sense to me to justify any of this, is she would sell as a great toy. I don't get it. I don't get the spotlight. I don't get her and feuding with, I guess, Indy Hartwell now, since Candice LeRae is hurt, and the way, and there's this trophy about her and her team from War Games and everything that's going to fall from that, and I don't want to see any of this. I actually am rooting very much for the promotion of Shotzi Blackheart to, I don't know, Raw or SmackDown. I don't want to make either of those shows worse, but my hope is that she's an NXT call-up, so she never makes it onto television anymore. So, Shotzi Blackheart, fingers crossed, hope you get promoted. At number 3, the SmackDown Tag Team division is up, and it is in smoke. Now, not to be... How can I phrase this here? Not to be misquoted, I guess. I am very much a fan of Montez Ford. I like Angelo Dawkins. I like Angelo Dawkins. I'm very much a fan of Montez Ford. I like the Street Pop. Yeah, I can say it. I like the Street Profits as a whole. Their gimmick is a wee bit overdone since their call up from NXT, with the showering of solo cups and everything else. But I like them. I want them to be successful. I want them to remain as a tag team, at least for the foreseeable future. But at the same time, even from Raw going into SmackDown, they keep retaining their tag team titles and they're successful and they're running through challengers. And at this point, what is left? Who is left? I'm not advocating for a tag team championship run between Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode. I don't like those two guys as a tag team at all in the first place. I like Cesaro and Nakamura, and personally, I wouldn't have had Cesaro and Nakamura lose the titles themselves when they did. I'd have had them hold on to it a bit longer, but we've seen that now recently as well, so I wouldn't say to put the belts back on them either. And I struggle to name another team in that division. 3 teams in that division, and then I've got no other answers for you. So where do we go from here? Are we going to lead to a tag team championship run for Chad Gable and Otis? Oh man. Like I thoroughly enjoy the 2-3 weeks or whatever it's been that we've seen of the Alpha Academy. I thoroughly enjoy that Chad Gable is a smug, pompous, sinister, maybe, almost, life coach, and that they're giving him a push and they're doing something with him that doesn't involve pointing out his height. I generally am not a big fan of Otis, but his playing off of Chad Gable has been done very well, to Otis's credit. They're polar opposites that actually work alongside each other instead of how it usually is where two people are just forced together and it's just awkward and you can't wait for it to end. The Alpha Academy thing, I think, has been one of the best new features on the SmackDown show. I don't know if I want to see that as tag team champions, though. Maybe I just haven't seen enough out of Alpha Academy yet. But A, it's super early to begin with, right off the bat. And B, as entertaining as I've found Alpha Academy thus far, I don't know if there's enough substance there yet. Again, short amount of product to judge by, but I don't know if there's enough substance there to justify the chase to a tag team title win, and then whatever comes from and however long is the defense of those tag team titles until their demise. I don't know. And I can't think of any other options. So it's at the point where we're a broken record and we're gonna repeat. I assume a triple threat tag team match is the first thing up, with Street Profits against Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode against Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro. I assume that's the next thing up. I mean, they even kind of referenced it last week or the week before. But aside from that, then what? You find yourself in a fatal 4-way, and then that's how you get the Alpha Academy, the tag team titles? Are we calling somebody up to SmackDown? Are Blake and Cutler going to be wrestling matches and get those tag team title opportunities that they were going to get before their own issues happened? I mean, I don't foresee them even wrestling anytime soon. They're kind of just henchmen at the moment for Baron Corbin. So I don't know where you go, but the SmackDown's tag team division is getting pretty close to fast forward past this territory. And that's a shame because one of its champions is a can't miss athlete, Montez Ford, obviously. So I don't know where you go from here. At number 2, we have NXT's lag team division. For starters, I'm super happy for Oney Lorcan, but also Danny Burch. I enjoy the tough, hard-nosed, rugged competitor, even if they're a little blander than most. Alongside Pat McAfee, it's brilliant, right? Just being able to have Pat McAfee talk for these hard-nosed, rough and tumble competitors. But in terms of the tag team division over at NXT, we've got Burch and Lorcan, who can put up a good fight, and that always makes for a good match. You have Imperium, that I'm pretty big fans of, particularly Fabian Eichner. I believe it's how it's pronounced, Fabian Eichner. Big fan of him. Marcel Barteau, he's good as well. I've only seen the grizzled young veterans on this side of the ocean. I don't watch NXT UK at all. They seem interesting. James Gibson, I believe that's the bald-headed one. I like him. Like I don't know. Breezango are around still. I've never really liked that tag team. I mean, they're funny in skits and stuff. I think I enjoyed them most when they had their thing with the Ascension, but it's another situation where it's like, okay, I see 3 tag teams. Maybe there's a 4th, even though I don't really want to see it. You can comment and say Killian Dane and Drake Maverick, but I mean, come on, stop. Seriously. They are. I'm not. You know what? No, I'm not gonna say they're never gonna win the tag team titles. I can definitely see that happening. In fact, if this was Raw or SmackDown, they'd already be tag team champions. But I don't know. I still want to give Triple H and whoever else is at NXT. I don't know how much creative influence Shawn Michaels and Albert and Road Dogg are, but I want to have enough faith in Triple H that he's not going to put those tag team titles on Drake Maverick, regardless of Killian Dane. So I'm not counting them in the contention list. Everrise, I don't know anything about them. I mean, they've just gotten kind of serious, but they're still jokey and hokey. They've been clowned and complete jobbers every other time I've seen them before November. So, it's. I want to say it's a tag team division of like B+ players, but I don't even know if I can do that. Like, ideally I just want to see Imperium versus I think grizzled young veterans for the tag team titles, and I guess Oni and Danny can be in that as well, but I don't know if I'd have them as the champs in that situation either. I don't need the fluff. And Undisputed Era, I think, don't really need that. I think they can just be involved in kind of like what they're doing now, right? The rotation of people that are going to challenge for, insert title here. They got Kyle O'Reilly going for the NXT Championship with Finn Balor, and, Adam Cole seems to be genuinely behind him. Roddy Strong is going to cheerlead at the moment. He's not chasing any titles. If and when Kyle O'Reilly fails, then they can kind of like hype each other up for who's ever going to go after the North American title. And then, the other two fight whoever's alongside that champion, right? So, I don't know. I think I don't think they need to be in the tag team division, particularly in regards to titles at the moment. I think they can be good accessory pieces. I think they're proven enough that they can just be, used to help elevate everything else that's not with a belt at the moment. But the belts themselves, man, they're in a rough state. Number 1 on my list for this week, my biggest gripe. It's been a while, several months, mostly because he's not on TV all that much. Luckily so, rightfully so. But if this becomes a thing in general, not just with him, this award may potentially even be named after him. And my biggest complaint is that you can't oversell if you're not over to begin with. And this has a potential to become the Joey Janella Award. Joey Janela's bad, man. He's really bad. He like unapologetically unathletic, for starters. And I think the most egregious thing is Kenny Omega, while he's trying to do his best, Dwayne Rock Johnson impression with commentating during his match, he hits these V-trigger knee shots to the head of Joey Janela more than once. But after the last one in particular, which wasn't the first one Joey Janela had taken, Joey Janela decides to throw his arms up, zombie style, and fall backwards onto his back to then lift his legs straight into the air while his arms are still in the air, zombie style, and wait to be picked up for the one-wing angel. Nobody falls like that, ever, under any circumstance. Like, if you were tased, you don't fall like that, with your arms straight up. If you were a zombie, like if you were literally a zombie, you probably still don't fall like that, with your arms and legs straight into the air. I don't know what that is. I don't know what the purpose of that is. Like, overselling exists. Most egregious of all time probably be Shawn Michaels with Hulk Hogan. But Shawn Michaels is a star, right? And I guess if you want to believe in the realism, quote unquote, of wrestling, Hulk Hogan's this big, strong, however established, strong character, very muscular. Maybe he's really bouncing around Hulk Hogan, yada yada yada, right? But Shawn Michaels is a star. He's earned the comedic but believability aspect through several years of top-notch matches. Joey Janela is a nobody. Even within AEW. I mean, the guy barely gets off of the YouTube show, right? And the few times that he does get off the YouTube show and he gets on the TNT show, he gives you no reason for anyone to put him on the TNT show again, at all. I get he was taken out of the tournament, so it's unfinished business with Kenny Omega having won the tournament for the belt. Yada. No, because the fact of the matter is Joey Janela had no business in that tournament in the first place. So for him to have a match with your world champion and have it on TNT in a main event and in a Joey Janela specialty match, this no rules match, no. I understand, put Kenny Omega over and have him beat jobbers, and Joey Janela's at close to the head of the jobber list in AEW. But you can do this with anyone else and be infinitely better. I'd much rather see Sonny Kiss was upset at how humiliated he was in that match and he wanted another chance and a shot at revenge than ever in my life have to watch another Joey Janela match. You don't have enough caveat. You don't have enough talent. You don't have enough seriousness, honestly, to warrant the ridiculous overselling. Particularly how much you oversell the oversell. If and when Joey Janela becomes somebody, not even a major player, but somebody, maybe we can relook at this, but we're never going to. Joey Janela is terrible, and that was the most egregiously offensive thing I watched on a wrestling television show this week, this month, this quarter, probably. And it would be in contention for the year. That was disgusting. It made you look terrible. It made your company look terrible. It made your champion look terrible. It doesn't do much for professional wrestling. You guys don't really do 1 million viewers at AEW. There's barely, more than 2 to 3 million viewers watching wrestling every week in the first place, apparently. You're not helping the cause, man. That right there is one of the reasons why wrestling is nowhere near as popular as it once was. So, I don't know. Those are my rants. I could probably do a whole hour long just on Joey Janela, but I'm not going to. Leave a comment down below, please. Don't really get much in the way of commentary on these lists. I really do want to see. I get some stuff on Twitter, so thank you for that. But I do want to hear, what are some of your biggest complaints? Let's keep it negative. On both of those shows. And, if you agree with any of this, awesome. Let me know. If you wholeheartedly disagree, that's cool too. Let me know. If you would have things in a different order, let's hear it. I enjoy it. I would like I said, I appreciate the stuff on Twitter. But I would like to see some of it in the comment section here, just to keep everything sorted and together. That'd be cool. Probably will see me on All Elite Recap over on the Tru Heel channel on YouTube this week for All Elite Recap. I might join their roundtable for TLC. We'll see about that. And you're definitely going to see me here next week because more things are going to upset me. So I'll see you for the 4th edition of Weekend Rants. I'm Cole Marcus Cash. I'll see you next time.